Faith on Film, a program designed to keep you aware and informed on whatever is happening in the world of faith and family films. Now, today is a little different because normally I've talked to filmmakers, whether it be actors, producers, directors, writers, you name it. But what happens after a film is completed? How does it get to you, the viewer? Well, through a distributor, of course. And today I have here one of the top distributors, or I should say someone that works with one of the top distributors. Joshua Carpenter is an entertainment executive with 8 years of experience in acquisitions and sales of movies and TV content for Green Apple Entertainment, linear channel Gago TV, that's it, Gago TV, and faith-based division Atonement Pictures. Now, while managing a diverse film portfolio of more than 350 titles, he has personally negotiated and acquired over 200 films and has been involved in the aspects of acquisition and sales for television networks, physical home entertainment, physical home entertainment, and streaming platforms. Joshua is responsible for content acquisition, domestic and international sales, account management of networks and platform alliances, metadata management, oversight of artwork creation, and represents the company at film markets and is a guest speaker, host, and panelist in film festivals. Maybe he can help me to speak good. Joshua, welcome to Faith on Film, my friend. How are you?
Great to be here.
I barely got through that one.
How do I get through it every day? My God, it's great.
Oh my goodness, I know. Yeah, you know, it's like I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's because I'm getting old, but I start reading. It's like, what am I reading? And you know, by the way, I mess up names a lot. Just so you know, I mess up names a lot.
You're going strong, man. You're going strong. New season in your life.
It is actually, and you know, I've always felt, and this is not fake humility. I'm not really very good at this, but it's not about me. It's about you guys, and it's about me doing whatever I can to bring you guys out and let people know that there is more than the big films that come out in theaters. There's a lot of other movies that maybe never necessarily make it to a theater, but they make it to your home, and you're the guy that makes sure they get there.
That's right, and just to represent Texas.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to do this right there.
Okay.
That's your new symbol right there.
You know what? I can't believe how much I am enjoying, first of all, Texas, but even more so, how much I'm enjoying watching the cows that come literally up to my fence.
Come on.
It's amazing. It's such a peaceful thing. I can't.
Speaking of cows, Isaac.
Yes.
So I went to Bible College in Christ for the Nations down in South Dallas, and I remember. I don't know who out there is listening remembers, but when you would say going north into Dallas, the American Airlines Center was on the right-hand side where Mark Cuban has the Dallas Mavericks team. The downtown was just on the right side. The left side was nothing but cow pasture. If you go through there now, it's like two completely full cities on both sides of the street or on the highway. It's incredible. So enjoy your cows when you have them.
I really am. I mean, I literally, every day that they're here, they'll come out and graze, and I'll go out there sometimes for 10, 15 minutes just to watch them. But anyway, we're not here to talk about cows. We're here to talk about films and film people and everything that has to do with faith and family films. You, my friend, how did you get started in this business in the first place?
Great question. To start from the beginning, like I was raised in a Christian home in the country of North Carolina. So if you hear my twang, that's where it comes from. Kings Mountain, North Carolina, just 35 minutes out of Charlotte. I grew up in a four-square denomination. Yeah, exactly. You do smell the apple pie, right? But so I grew up in a four-square denomination, very, charismatic, Pentecostal, etc. And to answer your question, how I got into the film industry, I'd like to start with this story of that's where I began. I did get to grow up in the church. I grew up I was Joseph in the Mary and Joseph, nativity scene, drama play when I was really little, etc. But I grew up in the youth group in Belmont, North Carolina, outside of Charlotte. And I was like, Lord, what do you want me to do next? I was always like, when I was young, it was like, hey, I'm just a kid, right? Just playing and just loving on the Lord, seeing animals in the clouds, right? Always using my imagination. And I just wanted to say, Lord, what do you want me to go next? And he led me to a youth group. He led me to a youth camp. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm about to graduate high school. What do you want me to do now? And he goes, so look around you. What have I given you so far? He goes, well, my pastor, his wife, associate pastor, his wife, youth pastor, his wife, all 6 went to this Bible college in Dallas, Texas called Christ for the Nations Institute. Mm-hmm. I go, all right, let's do it, Lord. Right. So me and my little brother went there where we met a gentleman, Rick Pino, a wonderful man of God and, musicianary, if you will, for the great ministers out there. And at that time, I was serving in Christ for the Nations. After I graduate, all right, Lord, I have my biblical theology degree. What do you want me to do now, right? So in between that, doing missionary work with Teen Mania in Chihuahua, Mexico, to Trinidad, and then also Papua New Guinea out in the jungle, north of Sydney, Australia. Really cool stories there. Actually met a king that ate 7 of his wives because they just got out of cannibalism about 30 years prior when we landed on that island. Incredible stories, Isaac. But to say, after Bible college, he goes, hey, what do you want me to, okay, Lord, now what? He goes, do you remember that youth camp? Remember that youth camp that, that you grew up in? I go, yeah. He goes, just go serve the kids there. I'm like, okay. Because that's where I got fed. He's like, okay, now you go do the serving a little bit. Go serve the kids. Okay, great. So I'm doing that. Meet these 2 little kids. Meet this guy, successful business owner guy. He introduces to me. He goes, hey, I have an idea that was in the attic for over 20 years. I think you're the guy to bring it down with. It was a Christian superhero named Captain Salvation. So I was like, awesome, comic book. We bring that to life. We bring the music to life. We give resources out to India, Springs of Hope, Kenya, all over the world. We're giving Captain Salvation resources. And then here comes the summer of 2008. I'm curious if you might have been there, Isaac, Roman. It was Roman the halls there. It was the 2008 CBA in Orlando, Florida trade show. We as the gentleman and I were at that event. He literally steps on someone's foot. And that gentleman had a movie called The Lion of Judah animation, if you remember that, with Sandy Patty, Ernest Borgnine, Scott Eastwood, Michael Madsen, etc. Great movie. Well, that was actually the first faith-based film to be out in Blu-ray on 3D. So they were promoting that. He was like, hey, why don't you come do my comic books? So somehow, Lord, what do you want to do next? My new season started with Lion of Judah. And then from there, the gentleman that secured an 11 territory deal with Warner Brothers has now been my boss, Tim Warren, for the last 9 years now. So moral of the story is, Lord, this is what I have with what you give me. What do you want me to do? He's just be faithful. Just get good at what you have. And, there's a really good book from Jensen Franklin. I may get it wrong, but it's something like right people, right place, right time. Right. And it's just God's always, he had a purpose and a plan for my life. And I was just obedient with the little things that I had. Right. And I was just trying to stay faithful in the small and hoping the promise, of hopefully being given much to steward.
Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Faith on Film. We are here today with Joshua Carpenter, who is part of an organization or distribution organization called Green Apple Entertainment. And Joshua, that was a very interesting story there because it seems to me like what you're saying is that God led your path and God called you into this world of independent films. So tell me a little bit now about what that means. What is a distributor? What is Green Apple Entertainment?
Sure, great question. Well, Isaac, look, many filmmakers struggle to get their content exposed in the crowded marketplace. And that's what we do. We help filmmakers get in front of a global audience. So we help local filmmakers reach a global audience through television, through theatrical, through home video, through streaming platforms. So what I do is I'm the head of global acquisition and sales for Green Apple Entertainment. I focus on, I'm always looking for new content. So filmmakers that have films either in development, pre-production, production, and post. We actually our company, Green Apple Entertainment, has actually evolved more so than just from the acquisitions of distribution with Green Apple Entertainment. We also run Green Apple Studios, so we actually started producing our own content, as well as we do provide post-production services also.
Now, what do you look for in a faith-based film? I mean, do you want films that are like really strong and there's a message there and there's an altar call and all that, or are you looking for films that are more like faith-friendly and kind of interject the message slightly there? What is your preference there at Green Apple?
I'm going to say both.
Okay, that's a good answer.
To answer your question,
good answer.
Yes, look, right. Look, at the end of the day, there's two ways to make films, right? You can, hey, I have a great idea. Let's try it. Let's go grab our iPhone. Let's go grab this camera and make a movie without any kind of inside information, right, of how to make a film. Or people come to us on an earlier stage and say, hey, what is working in the market? What should I be making? So that's why we look for both. At the end of the day, I acquire content, and whether that be anything from action to zombie. Currently I manage a film portfolio of nearly 400 films, everything from literally, I think our lowest budget was probably $3,000 that we released.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually had a $4,000 movie on Hulu, by the way.
Was it shot on one of these?
We are about to release a film that was shot on the iPhone, yes. And then also our biggest budget that we have some film rights to is $20 million. So we work from first-time filmmakers to filmmakers that are growing in their talent, to acclaimed filmmakers and directors, writers, etc. And then eventually we'll also star-powered content.
What would be a no-no, something that you would look at and you say it has this and therefore it's just an absolute no-no? I can't use it.
That's a really good question. At the end of the day, I'm not going to say what you can and cannot make. It's your film, but we don't tend like black and white content. It's like, okay, it's cool, it's creative, but sometimes it can be challenging. We look for things that we know that our buyers are looking for. So we have primary focuses, but then at the end of the day, filmmakers still need distributors. And if I can see that there's some type of marketing hook around it, we can visualize really strong artwork, a strong trailer, etc. There's quite a bit of things. There's many variables. I always get a lot of those questions of, where people make the film. It's like, oh, what's this film going to do? I'm like, man, you should ask me that before you made the film, right?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take another break, and then when we come back, I want to talk with you maybe about a little controversy that's been going on Facebook in this Christian group of all things, and I just want to get your take on it, all right?
I'm in that group, yeah.
Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Faith on Film. We're here again with Joshua Carpenter from Green Apple Entertainment. Joshua, okay, so talk to us about the content that you guys have. I notice you've got a couple of posters behind you. I'm assuming it's because you want to promote those two, but I'll let you decide what you're promoting.
Who's this lady? Who are these guys? Yes. So we have a lot of great things going on right now. We have over 300 plus films in the marketplace. Whether someone, we have currently actually right here behind us. This is Forgiven, starring Kevin Sorbo, Jane Godson as well. And this is actually from the director of A Question of Faith, Kevin Otto. You guys probably heard his name. He's the director of the $2.6 million box office, A Question of Faith, and several other great movies like John Snyder's What Would Jesus Do, and several others. So he is actually our senior vice president of production and development for Green Apple Studios, and running the post team as well over there. So this is one thing. If you guys want to watch this, we actually license it. It's airing on TV on Showtime. So you can watch it through, anywhere with a Showtime subscription on Hulu, et cetera. Yes, we're super excited about that one. This one behind us, Fearless Faith, stars Erin Bethea, if you remember her from Fireproof. Jason Berkey, the lead star of the $5.4 million box office October baby. I believe that one, and then also Ben Davies. You guys remember him in a cop uniform from Courageous? That was airing on Up Faith and Family. We have a really cool movie that we have. If you're familiar with Ty Mans, or the writer, we actually have his newest movie called Redeemed, starring Keisha Pullum Knight. If you remember the little girl from Bill Cosby,
Yes.
She's the producer and the lead star in her movie Redeemed. Also stars familiar faces that you guys may know of: T.C. Stallings, you have Cameron Arnett, and also Shannon Fields is in that one. That is actually streaming right now as a BET original on BET Plus.
Wow.
The BET Plus original, Redeemed. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, Casper Van Diem, and let's see, Grammy nominee Jackie Velasquez, Acquitted by Faith. You guys can watch that one streaming exclusively on PureFlix. We have a boxing movie in limited theaters right now called A Father's Fight, and it's several others.
So it looks like you guys are acquiring films and producing at this point just to kind of fit every marketplace or every type of genre that different people will like, right? I mean, sports. Now, the controversy that I was talking about is there's two things. One of them has to do with horror films. Okay.
All right.
And 2 years ago at one of the film festivals, I just blurted that out. I said, some of you guys should start thinking about making some Christian horror films. And I kid you not, I thought I was going to run out of town. They were going to run me out of town and tar and feather me. But this gentleman came on, and by the way, I had him on last week's show, and he said, man, I'm glad you said that because I just finished a Christian zombie movie. I really don't know what to do with it. Now, what is your take on that? I mean, what do you think about Christian horror? I know that sounds weird, and by horror I don't mean slasher movies, but I mean things that are a little bit more fearful perhaps than, you know, a dog and a pony movie. What is your thought on that?
That's a great question. Look, I'd say this. Many filmmakers struggle making good content because they create content from a place of a good idea. And follow this. As opposed to creating content from an encounter. And an example, and something real, what I think based on true stories do so well, right? Because it's based out of an encounter, something actually happened. I mean, think of this, right, in John 4, when the woman's at the well, he goes, right, give me a drink, you know, or et cetera. He goes, well, I'm the living water, and I have a deep well. There's so many good deep well ideas when we have an account, when we write from a place from encounter. I mean, think of Moses and the Israelites when they got out of the Red Sea. What happened? They wrapped that encounter in song and melody, right? So same thing, man. When we have an encounter, let's wrap that thing up in a script, right? And those are right. I mean, think of the best movies that came out lately. I mean, right? I Can Only Imagine to I Still Believe. Those came out of encounters, right? And another one, Pardoned by Grace, the movie that we'll get into. That's our newest production movie, co-produced, Pardoned by Grace, starring Joey Lawrence and Michael W. Smith, which is actually cinematography from the cinematographer from God's Not Dead, Mr. Shanley. That's based on a true story, right? This guy, he went to jail like 7 times, had like 35 sentences, 8 felonies, and it's a real pulpit to prison story. He went back to jail and goes, hey, I want to go back to jail, but this time I want to go preach the gospel, right? It's an amazing story out of an encounter. So to go back to what you're saying, horror. Look, at the end of the day, let's just say that, you know, when you said Christian films, sometimes, like, it's people's opinions. Are you a Christian filmmaker? Are you a filmmaker that's a Christian? We can go over that, right, all day long. But to say, to answer your question, can a Christian write a horror film? Well, did let's say this, the canonized collection of books, right, the Holy Bible, does that thing have horror stories in there? Right? It's like the Holy Spirit wrote horror movies, right? Yes. So say it's funny. 2 years ago at the ICFF, I was on the distribution panel when T.C. Stallings joined us, and in the back we were talking, we were going, I was kind of talking about that. It's actually the same time frame that you were talking about, because I remember meeting the filmmaker. And I go, hey, what do you think about this? He goes, at first he was like, no, not really. I go, well, let me think about it this angle. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, He kind of like, it's really cool. I would love to hear TC's thoughts about it now after 2 years ago as an initial thought. Love you, TC. Great job being redeemed, baby. But to say, yes, so think about it. Our canonized Holy Bible has 4 stories in it. So the question is, how can you write it well
right
at the end of the day, right? I mean, you had Chris on your show not too long ago, Chris Dallin, right? And he wrote, what was it? What was this movie?
The Remaining.
Yeah. The Remaining. Mm-hmm. Ask him how to do it.
Yep.
Right? It's like, come on, great job, Chris. Right? Exactly. So it's all in creativity. You just have to change your mindset. A lot of people just, at the end of the day, you just have to change your thinking and use the talents that God gave you, right? And work with a good team.
Amen. Well, I'm sorry, man, but we've run out of time. This show always just flies like this, and before you know it, it's like, what do you mean? We don't have time? I should turn it into an hour show. I don't know. But anyway, thank you. By the way, how can people get a hold of you?
Yes, great question. People can email me, Joshua@greenapple-ent.com. Again, at the end of the day, I want to do acquisitions. I would love to meet you and hear about your films. We're also starting to work with churches to make content as well. So feel free to email me, Joshua@greenapple-ent.com. Our website is greenapple-ent.com, no dash, greenapple-ent.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. at greenapple-ent.
All right. Well, thank you, Joshua. Again, time flies with these things. You had so much to say, and maybe we should just plan on doing another show, and we'll talk some more.
I was going to say, you felt that too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man.
Let's do it again.
I think we're going to have to do another one. All right. Hey, thank you again, all right? Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Faith on Film. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. I just want to remind you to check out 24 Flicks, a place where you can watch a lot of great movies, documentaries, reality shows. All you got to do is just go to 24flix.com. That's 24flix.com. And don't forget to write me. I really want to hear from you. Write me at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film. That's at Faith on Film. Well, until next week, take care.